Kulas Ravine, the map with 10 Xel'Naga towers. Let's get in the game.
Oh, dear God.
Here we are. Check it out. It is, I never thought I'd be saying this again, and I'm actually so happy that I can. Here we are, guys, on Kulas Ravine.
Oh.
And at the top right part of it, in the teal from the team Dignitas, it is SeleCT. And in the upper left from the team Infinity 7, it is Axslav. We are tied up 2-2, and look at that mini-map. That is more eyes than Cthulhu, man. I mean, that's like...
I think if Cthulhu's going to strike you down just for suggesting that, but...
We'll see.
We'll see. I'll buy it.
So Kulas Ravine was another one of those maps that I actually really enjoyed playing on. I loved messing with all the destructible rocks. I mean, it was just a lot of fun.
You were a sadist. It's just like,
I really liked all these old maps. I'm sorry. They're just...
Oh, my God.
They're just
Kulas
fun.
Ravine?
I like playing silly games. I still remember, like, on this map, doing the 6 barracks... on one pace with Terran all the time.
God.
It was so good. I would fake that I was 1 rax expanding, and then I would put down 5 more barracks.
So
and yeah,
I guess
that's what I would do.
Okay, we're gonna go through this map. All right, so guys,
all right.
Here's your main. And
Yes.
it's a pretty big main. There's not a lot of space. The one thing, I think that this was pretty forward-thinking for some of the maps, though, was that not a lot of space back here, so wards against drops pretty well,
Sure.
and makes for a more macro game. Is that kind of what they were going for on this map?
Okay.
Now, your ramp, well, it really isn't. It's an even ground ramp over to the natural, and as you can see, it's quite wide. It's going to require another supply depot off to the right here for SeleCT to finally wall that in. Your natural is accessible by a billion places. You have a ledge around the side of it. You have destructible rocks around the top that you can actually get to, or you have multiple paths through the bottom. And there's basically a lot of ways to get to it. Your third, you don't really talk about. It didn't happen all that much. Your fourth was a gold, and that was only reserved in crazy games.
Dude, actually a lot of people snuck that gold base.
Yeah,
it was very, very common. And especially in positions like this, top versus top, it's very, very normal to try to sneak that gold base just because you get to a lot of points in the game where you can kind of prevent your opponent from walking through there. So why not? I wouldn't be surprised at all to see one of our players take one of the gold bases on this map. But that third base with the destructible rocks, if you can control the middle of the map, if you can control that Xel'Naga tower that has that little bit of raised ground sort of in the middle 2 Xel'Naga towers, if you control the one on your side, you can do a lot of things like take that third, take that gold. So this is actually a map. This is one of the first maps where we legitimately saw a lot of longer games, at least if a Zerg wasn't involved.
And Axslav is playing PvP. He's going to open with a 3-stalker opening here, is what it appears to be.
I like it.
We'll find out here. He has, there's Warp Gate, there's Stalker number 1, and Stalker number 2 and 3 are going to hit it basically about the same time with the perfect amount of resources. But that's certainly an interesting strategy on this map.
One of my favorite things to do on this map was, the Xel'Naga tower that's at the third base location? I would go there and I would kill the person defending the tower, and then I would start attacking the rocks, and my opponent would move back to defend that area, and then I would just circle around the front as soon as, the vision was gone, and then I would attack the front. It worked in... What was it, Diamond was the highest back then? Yeah, it worked in, Diamond and Beta, so therefore it was a great strategy.
I forgot about this, too. How could I not mention the destructible rocks that are going from the main to the third as well? Because it looks like that's where SeleCT actually is going to take his natural at.
Well, it's not a bad idea. The other one is very, very open, dangerous.
Is he gonna go back?
He might be going siege tanks, I think. It'd be a good way to defend here, but look at this. SeleCT pumping out a couple stalkers here early on, and is there a bunker right now or Axslav pumping up some stalkers? I don't think there's any bunker right now.
There's not.
Ooh,
so
this is something that Axslav could possibly take advantage of.
Yeah, that 3-stalker opening proving it has some uses here in PvT as well. And we'll see what that probe decides to put down here in a second.
Oh, there's a bunker.
Yeah, it's started, but already one Marine has been lost to the cause, and it looks like an SEV is going to die as well. So Axslav causing some damage here just by the presence of these stalkers.
This is such a smart opening here by Axslav, knowing that he can abuse the fact that there is no ramp here, using stalkers against Marines only, kind of counting on the fact that SeleCT is probably not going to go for the Tech Lab first 2 racks opening or something like that. Not going to have Marauders out soon enough. So I think Axslav is doing just like an actually good job of reading SeleCT, reading his opponent here. It reminds me a lot of StarCraft 1, the Dragoon just kind of sitting outside the Terran base early on, outranging the bunkers. Obviously that doesn't happen in StarCraft 2, but
Just look how much lost mining time this is, though, and he's already killed 6 workers in this game. This is remarkable. So these 3 Stalkers have been worth their weight in gold.
Yeah,
he's
man.
continuing to poke away at these structures as well. There's no way that just 4 Marines are going to be able to run up to take advantage of that. So Axslav with a really nice idea on this map, and he's going to pick off another SCV and then get the supply depot.
Yeah, and it was always so dangerous to wall off against Protoss on a lot of the earlier maps. I remember used to tell my friends, I'd be like, no, don't wall off against Protoss ever, because you're just going to lose your supply depots. And, you know, on these maps, you can really see, as the Select is kindly demonstrating for us, that it is kind of dangerous. Yeah, he's going to get a reactor right away, produce a few more units here, and the tank is out, so will that be enough to push back Axslav? Possibly. Select really doesn't need to push this too much anymore. He can just kind of sit back by the bunker and just be safe at this point.
But what an advantage he has gained for himself, as he does have an expansion up now. He's sitting on 32 workers to his opponent's 22.
Yep.
Still continuing to double chrono boost those out at a time.
Yeah.
And actually investing in some infrastructure and tech, because he knows he's gained a big advantage.
Now, here's the thing, though. Axslav has done something a little bit dangerous. He's taken his natural expansion. And the reason that that's dangerous is because you can just put units up on the high ground and actually hit the mineral line from this. So with Select being such a drop-heavy player, you can do that so easily. He's actually going siege tanks because he wants to actually put tanks up there as well, which if Axslav doesn't have, like, Colossi or any way to get up there quickly, is going to be so tough for Axslav to deal with. So really all that Axslav needs to get is get something in the air above that natural expansion. He's going to be in such good shape. He's actually going for Banshees here, which can do just that.
All right, well, 1 Banshee on the way, not of the cloaked variety, of course. This Observer going to see everything, including the Tech Lab starport, though, so we'll see how he reacts to that. Another barracks, another few barracks actually coming up at the moment.
Sees the expansion as well. I think he saw that there were 4 barracks, and he's like, all right, you probably have an expansion, don't you? And he's like, yep, you do. There it is.
I see you.
Yep, and this is smart by Select, too. He actually put SCVs in the command center before he floated up. What are you doing?
I don't know. I just pulled the scoreboard away. I'm so sorry.
It's the maps. Just blame the maps. All right, so, yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised that we're not seeing Select get a medevac or 2 and drop siege tanks on the high ground above the natural expansion here. But so far, just deciding to kind of play more defensive, play more safe. And I think we're going to see Axslav try to break through those back rocks.
He does have 1 if he decides that he wants to do a little bit of dropping, of course. But, yeah, you're right. Axslav moving over with a lot of stuff, dropping the forward pylon at the destructible rocks as well. Now, of course, Select does pick up on this.
Yeah, good of Select to see. Oh, does he see that? Okay, sees the units now for sure.
Yes.
Banshee kind of freaks out a little bit. He's like, oh, I need the siege tanks up there really fast. He does have siege mode, so he's actually in an okay position here, but he needs to get set up really quickly here.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to be able to do so. Siege tanks are up. Whoa! Watch out for those sentries.
Oh,
boom!
Man.
Loses 2 of them.
No
That's
kidding.
300 resources down the drain. Importantly, that 200 gas goes away as well.
That's
so
big. You know, that Banshee can be so useful if Select decides to harass the natural. He's not deciding to do it yet. He's had to play so defensive against Axslav on this map.
And let's see now if, well, Select's pretty well bunkered up everywhere. Of course, this is going to be a bit of a problem child right here. Oh, wow, Axslav just making his way up. He picks off one of the Banshees and runs away. Doesn't actually lose all that much himself. Loses the pylon, though.
It was worth it. It was worth it to get that Banshee. Axslav reinforcing with a few more units on the high ground here. And this is so interesting, actually, seeing Select go for this kind of marine tank style. On Kulas Ravine, you really have to play the older maps very, very different here as well. Oh, look at this, Immortal. Just going to go ahead and try to break down those rocks, and that tank is going to take a long time before it does any damage at all to it.
Yeah, if you guys are wondering, the hardened shields of Immortals allow them to take just very limited damage until the actual shields are gone. That's why Marines are so effective against them, but they can stand and take those big, beefy tank shots for a long time.
Yeah, can take 10 siege tank hits before he starts taking any permanent damage to that Immortal.
Yes, very much so.
Uh-oh, Dark Shrine on the way for Axslav.
Oh, God.
He's going to add in some DTs. Why not, man?
Oh, I love this map. Did I say that? No, I hate it. I hate it with a passion.
You do. I heard
hate it with a passion.
I heard at Kevin Naki say that he loves Kulas Ravine.
Oh, Echo Zudoa, you're so silly.
Zelt's being dropped in the main.
Yes, and pretty good move. Could pull a couple units out of position. Axslav really doesn't have anything to take advantage of that, though. It looks like it's just going to be units that are already there for Select that are going to be able to clean this up, and indeed they do.
All right, so Axslav, I think Select came into this as the favorite, but Axslav just seems like he's adapting to these maps a little bit better, I gotta say, than Select is.
And,
a little bit better here.
A little bit of teamwork as Select finishes off the destructible rocks there that Axslav started. And Axslav's continuing to patrol back and forth at these bases that are way across the map. How many of the Zelnaga towers are taken? Just 1, 2 for the time being. Axslav doesn't have control of his own next to his third. And it looks like he's trying to go right through the front, but there's already a couple of siege tanks here. Drop on the high ground, though, is going to allow a couple of those tanks to go down. No, one of them saved just at the last instant.
That was such a smart little trick by Axslav to drop those zealots on top of the siege tank. But, yeah, Select actually defending it brilliantly. And this is just great. I mean, the stuff that we're seeing on this already is just a little bit insane, a little bit crazy. But Select taking that gold base for his third, very normal to do on Kulas Ravine. That's going to give him a really, really nice boost as far as his marine production goes.
Oh boy, here comes some heavy drops, though, as Select with 2 medevacs around the top, 1 medevac around the bottom. And we'll see, is Axslav doing anything in return? No, scouts out, does see the missile turret, gets his observer killed by that. Never a fun thing. And this is a gigantic drop.
Oh, man. Oh, he could actually get the robotics bay and possibly Colossus, too. We'll have to see. He needs to focus down this stuff. I'm sure he's going to go for the robotics bay first. And he does. Will he be able to get possibly the robotics facility as well?
And let's see here if he wants to stand in and engage against this. The Colossus in danger of going down, and it is going to fall because at the same time, Select is dropping down at the third as well. That's a huge amount of economic damage.
Yeah, really nicely done by Select. And is he going to get the robotics facility? I think he is.
Oh, so low, 30 hit points and down. And he's even going to be able to get out of there with a couple of units. No, I'm sorry, there's Blink. I'm a dirty liar. And the medevac dies.
Oh, man, look at that, though. Tons of damage being done. A DT having to be warped in by Axslav to defend against that. DT plus speed lots is a very good drop defense. And Axslav responding to losing his robotics facility and bay by putting down 2 more robotics facilities to try to get that Colossus count going again here.
Right. Smartly, though, he was able to start another robotics bay before the robotics facility was killed. Oh, look at these. Just 2 dropships just kind of hanging out next to each other.
Cute.
Not cute anymore, more deadly.
I think it was mostly cute. But, all right, well, Marine Marauder Siege Tank coming across the map for Select here. Running into these Immortals, but it looks like Select just has too big of an army. He's going to need to have his scans saved up for this DT, though.
Yes, he is.
Is he not noticing this? Oh, there we go. Okay, he does notice the DT.
Yep. So a little bit of damage done from the DT, but not too much. And Select, look at that, already starting to mine off of the gold. We have a Warp Prism coming over there, but that is a planetary fortress. It'll take a while for that to continue to do damage. And Select's now going to siege up outside of the third, start ferrying some units in. And Axslav is being very, very patient.
Yeah, really nice push here from Select. I wouldn't be surprised to see Axslav put some stalkers on that high ground outside the gold. I think that's what he's doing. Yeah, he's out of range of the planetary there. Looks like the Marauders somehow do have vision, but it's going to be an... Oh, Axslav, wow.
Yeah, tries to break that, but unfortunately doesn't have enough stuff. Loses one of the Immortals as well. The third base is dead. Select's now at a pretty good advantage as well.
You know what? That Zelnaga tower at the natural expansion is actually giving Select vision on that high ground outside his gold base. That's what happens when you have 10 Zelnaga towers on the map. You can see everything.
That's true, but Axslav, man, he is really down to his last legs as he is almost mined out of his main, virtually mined out, I should say. Just a little bit left over at the natural as well. He's got a couple of Colossi, and he will be able to break the siege tanks very effectively. But look at this. Select is running right back into the main.
Yep, he lost that. Those are speed zealots, though. I think it should be enough to possibly handle this. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it looks like the Blink Stalkers are coming back now. One more medevac goes down.
Oh, that other medevac's going to die as well. Possibly, probably. Oh, I guess not. Okay. I forgot there was such a big amount of space behind the main. Yeah, I was like, all right, that one's dead. But nope. A little bit of space here. I don't think I've casted a game on this map in like a year and a half at least,
It's been a while.
It's been a very long time, for sure. Because when I got to the GSL, it was after this map had already been taken out.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so it's the last ones I probably casted were some of the really old NA online events. I'd probably guess maybe the SC Reddit Open, maybe what were some of the other ones I did back then?
Yeah.
The Undeniably Gamer.
Oh, wow, that's a while ago.
Yeah.
The Rush Network?
The Rush Network, yep. The Rush Network.
Oh, LOL, good times. So let's see here. Axslav re-expanding, but of course Select has a Marine on the Zelnaga tower inside of his base, so that's going to get picked up on.
Speaking of getting picked up, or picked off in this case, those medevacs.
Yeah. Getting pretty low.
Close.
Cycling the hurt medevac. But it doesn't matter as this last medevac is actually going to die here in a second as well. Very nice catch there for Axslav.
Oh, what a back and forth game here on Kulas Ravine from Axslav and SeleCT.
Oh, boy. All right, well, yeah, supply's pretty even between our two players. Axslav really, though, has going for him. Look at that. Pretty good upgrade advantage. 2-2 working on 3-3 at the moment, about to finish up +3 weapons. And SeleCT just sitting on 1-1. 2-2 not even finished.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, here we go. A little bit of a warping on the high ground. Now we see that abuse coming in from our Protoss players can actually be able to hit some of the SCVs from the high ground with those stalkers, too.
Yes, he is, and we'll see if that's enough to deny SeleCT's mining for a while. Because
I'm having flashbacks.
Oh, this has got to be annoying. I've experienced this. This is no fun.
Yep.
Oh boy! All right, well he's killed a considerable amount of SCVs already. 4 there. He is eventually going to get pushed back, but he's going to be able to pick away at a couple of those Vikings at the same time.
Yep. All right, so a 4th base being taken now by Axslav. He's going after the gold base, making 2 Colossi at once. But SeleCT with the supply lead, and also I would say a pretty good composition right now against what his opponent has. And if he sieges up the high ground at that natural expansion, he is going to be in such a fantastic place.
Yeah, that's going to be very difficult for Axslav to deal with.
Yeah.
He is up by 17 workers, but down by 24 supply overall, which means there's a 41 supply difference in Army at the moment. So
it's a big deal.
Yeah, that's pretty huge at this stage of the game.
The War Prism getting taken out finally.
Yes. So let's see here now. Is Axslav going to be able to make the defense he needs? Because his production's going to skyrocket in a bit. He did take that gold. He's sitting on 4 bases, and he needs to defend a big push out of SeleCT because SeleCT is almost maxed.
That's what's coming, man. We've got Viking, Medevac, Marine Marauder, and Siege Tank. He does have +3 weapons on the way for his infantry here as well. So yeah, SeleCT's still in a great spot, and he's going for the gold here. He wants to make sure that Axslav does not get to use that at all.
Yeah, let's see. There's just 1 photon cannon. Don't think that's going to delay for very long.
Not much.
No, and Axslav, what does he do now? He's trying to move some units around. Is he coming back to the defense? Yes, he is. His Nexus falls already, so that's a huge amount of damage already done.
He already snuck a 4th base, though, another 4th base at a bottom left location, though, so he's still trying to expand and keep up here, but yeah, SeleCT just kind of getting the lead right now. SeleCT is going to actually need to kind of mess up, I think. He's going to need to lose a big engagement to lose this game, but Axslav,
there's
a lot of Colossi.
He blinks in. He's trying to take out those Vikings as quick as possible, but the Colossi are actually dying pretty quickly. Pretty good storms on top of the rest of the units, and SeleCT gets a pretty big force killed there in the middle of the map.
Wow.
These Colossi are not even going to die, so Axslav is able to equalize things at least a little bit here, but there's another pretty big Bioforce coming.
The snipes a Colossus right away before pulling back here. Had to get a big stim, and there are no medevacs there to heal up.
No.
So Axslav's still in a pretty good spot compositionally here. The Immortals just coming in so clutch as far as the siege tanks and the Marauders went here as well. Soaking a lot of damage, doing a lot of damage in return. So this game is far from over. Both players even up on supply again.
Oh my god.
It's a pretty epic game we're having here actually on Kulas Ravine. Very back and forth here.
And this does determine who makes it into the next round of the tournament, guys. It's game number 5 of this best of 5. And SeleCT just wants to charge into the natural here.
It's a single elimination tournament. This is it. No second chances for either of these players here.
All right, well, let's find out if SeleCT is going to be able to do some damage as he takes the Xel'Naga Tower right outside of, everything.
Well, there you go. You can. Yes. It's good. It's good to take as many Xel'Naga Towers as you can.
There are currently
There's actually more Xel'Naga Towers than bases on this map.
There are actually 6 towers that are taken right now as well.
There's the same amount, actually. There's 10 bases, 10 towers.
Yeah, 3, 6, 9, 12, 14.
So there's as many Xel'Naga Towers as there are bases on this map, Kevin.
Well, we'll see if Axslav is going to be able to kill off this force. Pretty good positional. Storms on the high ground, dealing damage to the Vikings as well is pretty critical right now. And that could allow some Stalkers to blink up, and take out a lot of the rest of the units. Man, Axslav was way down not too long ago, but he had that great defense and has found his way back into this in style.
Playing like Kadarian Amulet is back in the game or something right now. Making great use of those storms defensively here, and now he's about, I think, ready to do a little bit of pushing possibly. Colossi on the high ground. It's definitely something to worry about. If your name is SeleCT.
That's true. Axslav wouldn't worry about that too much right now.
Not too much. He's worried about keeping them alive is what he's worried about.
That is true. But he does have a considerable amount of bases now. He's on 5 bases. Of course, 2 of those are mined out, so it's effectively 3 mining bases. That's a little bit better than SeleCT is doing. He's mined out of his
Here
gold.
we go. Big push.
Yeah, looks like he's going to try and move through this choke point right here. A few ghosts are moving their way up, but they whiff on one of the EMPs. Another one connects pretty solidly, though, but it hasn't hit any of the Templars at the back. A little bit of a whiff of the storm there, and Axslav not able to get any damage done with that quite yet, so a little bit of miscontrol out of both our players.
Yeah, the game not quite over yet. Oh, but now that the Vikings are dead, Axslav knows he can harass from that high ground. That's a big deal, man. Those SCVs taking a lot of damage, some of them even dying. And Axslav still maintaining that supply lead, and he's getting those shield upgrades too, so the upgrades for both of these players getting very, very scary here in the late game.
All right, well, look at the amount of Templar with this, and throws down one positional storm to try to get some units there, but now the rest of those are hitting with a couple more, or he's hitting those storms a little bit better. But look at this. This is the only mining that SeleCT's doing right now. There's no way he's going to be able to remax off that. He has to take another base. He has to find some sort of economic footing in this game.
Yeah, that's right. He's just falling farther and farther behind here right now. Axslav playing very, very, very high Templar heavy, which is something that we never saw on this map back in the day. Everybody was always using Colossi, things like that. But Axslav really kind of bringing a relatively modern late game style to this very old map. And catching another drop.
Yeah, that is a big win for Axslav because SeleCT needed something to get his way back into this game, and unfortunately this just isn't going to be it. Even DT's just scattered around to defend against any sort of expansions.
Yeah, man, Axslav, I think he came to this tournament prepared. I think you can really tell that he put actually a little bit of time into preparing for these maps.
Yes, he did.
It certainly appears that way. And, really, really playing Kulas Ravine well. I gotta say, and if he's able to knock off SeleCT, Axslav may actually be one of our favorites to win the whole tournament, too, I gotta say.
It's very possible, as Axslav is actually losing some stuff inside of his main. SeleCT backing up at the moment, though, content with the damage he's done and knows he has to defend for a little while. He's trying to set down another expansion, but already a Zealot is ready to, or is in position. And it picks up on it.
Well, what SeleCT just did just shows how good of a player he is. He had the opportunity to go in, kill a lot of things in the main, but he chose not to. He chose to pull back because he knew if that army was trapped, if he loses that army, he loses the game. So he keeps it alive. He pulls it back. SeleCT definitely making all the right decisions right now, but he's definitely got a big hill to climb. He's pretty far behind at this point.
Yeah, he really does. As we can see here, this was the lone medevac that survived the drop into the main so long ago.
The medevac that could.
Yeah, the medevac that could. Thomas the tank engine himself as well.
That's right. Thomas the medevac driver. Actually, well, no, the medevac drivers are girls, so.
That's true. Could be Thomas. I don't judge.
Thomas Ina? Thomas, I don't know.
I don't know what the female form of Thomas is. I have to admit.
Sure. That's a good question.
So we are pretty far into this game now. Possibly Tamara.
I don't know.
That's the name of my mother-in-law, so that gets,
there you go.
Gets weird connotations.
All right.
Let's see here now as... this is actually a ridiculous unit composition. Tons of Archons, Immortals, everything. SeleCT not going to be able to defend this base. At the same time, though, he's going to try and counterattack and do some damage. But look at that. He's down by 50 supply.
Yep. And that is just a huge death ball army for Infinity 7 Axslav. And this base, even if it dies, it's not a big deal because there's no mining going on really at it anyway. I mean, he's using it for some gas, but look at his bank. He's got 2,400 gas right now saved up. He doesn't need any more gas from that base.
And Blink Stalker's on the high ground. He can actually replace some of his units now. Pretty good EMPs, hitting a good number of units, but the Storm's working out very well for Axslav. He's able to blink in, take out those Vikings one after another.
Protoss shower.
Yes, it is. Grubby is jumping in glee somewhere.
That's right. The army just dwindling right now for Dignitas SeleCT.
Yeah.
I think we might see the beginning of the end here for our Terran player.
Yeah, it seems like it. There it is! GG! And Axslav has eliminated SeleCT.